Good morning, dolls, and welcome to Little Gretchen's workshop. So I have a few things I want to show you today in addition to a surprise at the end of the video or the featured video. Well, I wanted to show you some things in my workshop and show you what else is going on in addition to the things that I'm working on preparing for the babies. So let me just go ahead and do that and not get into a whole lot of conversation. I'm in a different part of my house again because it's kind of warm today. So I thought this would be a little bit more comfortable while I show you some of the things I need to show you before we actually go to the workshop. Okay, so let's start with a few of the supplies that I had to buy that I use regularly. I don't talk about it very much. I had to go to my local home store and pick up some of what I consider essentials. And one of the items is kind of a new item I'm going to start using. I saw it as recommendation on another miniature channel, and so I'll tell you about that in a minute. So one of the first things I picked up today was lacquer thinner. Now, I use lacquer thinner to clean my brushes. I'm really unkind to my paint brushes, and a lot of time when I get done with them, they're not really salvageable. But when I do attempt to clean them and reuse them, I use lacquer thinner. Now, lacquer thinner is a solvent in general, so it would like strip furniture, remove paint, remove the lacquers, the stain and finish off of things. So it has a lot of really great uses in a miniature, in a at the table for a miniaturist. But I would recommend you regularly use nitrile gloves when you are using lacquer thinner, handling it in any way. Use nitrile gloves, and nitrile gloves will protect your hands, and they're resistant. The lacquer thinner won't be able to eat them up. I attempted to use rubber gloves or latex gloves or something one time, and yeah, the lacquer thinner ate right through them. So yeah, make sure you use nitrile gloves when you're using that. Also at the home store, I always stop by the little paint reject table, and I got two really cool colors. I got this kind of a burgundy, reddish, Bordeaux type color, and it was only 50 cents. It was on the reject table, and I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but it was 50 cents. So yeah. So and then I got this color, which is like a really nice olive green, and I think that'll come in handy for something. So I got that. And again, dolls, I'm not trying to recommend over shopping, unnecessary shopping, but I mean, it's paint. And latex paint is really good for a lot of things. I do use a lot of acrylic paint on my projects, but I'm learning little by little that latex paint is really good for painting things. It gives you a nice smooth finish rather than the kind of rough, coarser finish sometimes that you get with acrylic paint. So I'll talk about that more at another time, but I always go to the reject table, get a couple nice little 50-cent pots, and these are the perfect size. Like, unless you're doing some massive project, this is all you would need anyway. And now this is a item that I actually bought on the recommendation of watching another channel. I was watching a new, what's I call it, a new channel, new to me. I just found it, House of Viridian, and he uses Quick Seal to close the gaps and seams and stuff on his projects, rather than using like wood putty. And I guess especially if things are not going to be wood stained, he's painting them, but he uses this to fill in the gaps and in between the joints of his projects, and gives a really beautiful finish. So I bought this because I want to try it. I want to see how it works. Because like I said, based on the things he uses it for, it turns out really, really nice. Now, I want to show you the main thing that I went to the miniature store, not miniature store, the main thing that I went to the home store to purchase today. So, in light of all the wonderful gifts that you dolls have been giving me, I'm running into the problem of storing all these lovely treasures. And I really don't like storing things in cardboard boxes because you can't see them, you'll forget about them, you know, like I said, like out of sight, out of mind. So I really prefer to store things in some type of receptacle that will make it where it's visible to me. I can see it and get to it quickly. So I do have one, but I purchased another one. And I showed it to you probably a while back, but this is what I got. It is like it's kind of a thing that I guess they use in the tool room or workshop, garage, whatever. But I think it's really great for storing miniatures. And I'm gonna just undo it here. Now it's got little things on the back where you can mount it to the wall. I'm not going to mount it to the wall. I'm going to put it right on my desk, and yeah, I might actually share today me putting some things in it. But it's got these really nice, these drawers are nice because they're pretty deep, and I think it'll be perfect for putting dolls and things in. And then the smaller ones are great for, you know, smaller items. And I think sometimes it's nice too, say if you're working on a project and you don't finish it, you can put the entire project in the little thing with all the things that are associated with it, so things don't get separated, lost, or misplaced. So that's kind of what I do. Yeah. Sorry, dog. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you. So we're going to continue on the video. I'm going to go ahead and gather up my things and go up into my workshop and yeah, then show you what else I'm doing. Okay. So dolls, here I am back up in my craft room, and I'm sorting through things to put into the tiny drawers. So my purpose for buying the organizer was to fill it with things from some recent unboxings, and I will leave links in the description, but I have things all over my craft table that need their own special place as well. Now, I did pull a few things out of my original organizer, kind of separating them and putting them with things that are similar or things that will be used together. Now, I had a few dolls that needed to be worked on, and they need their own special space. And even though they fit, I thought they looked a little bit uncomfortable after I pushed the drawer in. So I decided to use this drawer for some suitcases in various stages of completion. And even though they're in the drawers, I can still see everything clearly. Now, dolls, I want to be clear, there is no right or wrong way to organize your miniature supplies. Best practice would be to store them the way you use them. So my concept is to store things that are alike or things that are going to be used together. Now in that one drawer I put all my silicone molds, but in this drawer I put all my tiny boxes and the types of scraps that I use to make the boxes all in one drawer. And although the silicone molds are in a drawer, I store my resin upright so it doesn't spill. Now I'm just showing you here, I have a little drawer filled with baskets, some that I made and some that were gifted to me. But they're all baskets, so I'm going to store them together. So this little drawer, I'm going to store all the polymer clay boots and shoes that I made, plus the red boots that were a gift. Now here I have these lovely teeny roses, but I think they'll go better with my lace and ribbon supplies. So here's my old supply of resin roses because I was recently gifted quite a few, but I'm going to put them all together. But for now, I'm going to tuck them here for safekeeping. So let me share with you what else is going on. So here we are on the third floor of the rooming house, and this is where the children were playing prior to Marguerite and Sadi's wedding. And I was originally going to turn this into another bedroom, but the children of the rooming house need somewhere to play. And I think this lovely floor looks more like a playroom floor rather than a bedroom floor. And then I have this lovely wallpaper that has very childlike designs on it, and I think it looks very retro or vintage. So I think I can really make that work. I can add beadboard up to where the pitch of the roof is, and along this side I can still add it halfway up and do wallpaper the rest of the way, and I think that'll work really nice. I'm going to make it very child friendly and cozy, filled with all the toys and playthings that I've been creating in the previous videos, because with all the focus on the new babies, I don't want the older children to feel neglected. So this other room I'm going to make into like a reading room, and it's going to have lots of books and also a couple chairs and tables so they can have quiet time or quiet creativity, and kind of separate from the small children's play area. Now, my original plan for this room was sort of like to be the nanny's room where they could climb down into the room that's now the girls' room. I originally had planned it to be more like a nursery, but at this stage, I don't think it's necessary to leave the floor open, which would be the ceiling to the little girls' room, which would create all types of problems. I could only imagine all the things the boys would do to annoy the little girls, because I grew up with an older brother and I had a couple older cousins that were around his same age, and sometimes it seems like they literally spent the majority of their spare time thinking of ways to annoy and aggravate me. So yes, I'm closing the floor. And I just wanted to stand back a little bit so you could see a full view of the two rooms together. So the playroom and the reading room are right next to each other, and it gives the kids plenty of room to kind of be free and not have to worry about being too noisy to the adults in the daytime. So in addition to trying to finish up the third floor of the rooming house, there's the matter of pulling things together and bringing everything up to par at the old dress shop so that Pop and Miss Betty can live there comfortably after they're married. Now, Miss Betty hasn't made any real serious demands, but Pop is willing to do whatever she asks in order for her to be happy after they get married. Now, the bathroom was installed when Aunt Bess and Aunt Janie were living here. Now, the kitchen already has wallpaper and beadboard, and I also purchased the ice box, although it's not in the room. I did purchase that sink for this project, and I do have that Roper stove, but I kind of feel like it's too big. So I'm seriously considering making a smaller stove that won't take up so much room. And you may wonder why I won't put the stove on the other side of the room, and it's because it would make the setup look too much like the way my original dollhouse is set up in the kitchen. So I'm definitely going to have to do something different to give it a different look. Now, Pop has never been married before, but he did buy a few pieces of furniture for the parlor. But I'm still not sure how Miss Betty feels about the checkered floor, but we'll find out soon. But there's quite a few other things that need to be done at the house. Now, this is the third floor where their bedroom will actually be, and that was the last place the men were working. Now, the room that was previously the office to the dress shop, it will make a really nice nursery. But until then, it'll be a really nice little sitting room. Now, at the last renovation, this was the roof, but it's going to be turned into the fourth floor because I'm going to re-add the roof that I originally removed to make the third floor. And look what I found right on time, chalkboards for the playroom. The third floor of this house was an addition, and you can see the original points to the attic right there in the nursery and in the bedroom, but I raised it before, so now I'm going to remove that trim and actually add the roof back on and close it up so that area can be used as storage space now that the children will be using the third floor of the rooming house as their playroom. So I've got to close up the sides, add a floor, and finish the walls. So I've got a lot of work to do before Christmas. So I'm going to be quite busy after these babies get here. So here we are in the new dress shop, and I want to share my surprise. I've moved the actual sewing room area to the second floor rather than on the third floor. I felt like the third floor was kind of cramped. It was sort of like an attic space. And I want to zoom in really close in the back here so that my precious doll Jean H can see that we do have an official cutting table. The dolls are not cutting out their patterns on the floor. But I will show you what the third floor looks like now that I've removed all of the furniture. But I just wanted you to get a really good look at how I have things arranged now that I've moved the sewing room down to the second floor. And here is Aunt Bess's sewing machine, and right above her machine and everything is the industrial machine and the serger. And right across from that is Marguerite's sewing machine and all of her things right there. So it's plenty of room for the ladies to stretch out and get things done. And they can use Aunt Janie's sewing machine to train another seamstress because it doesn't get very much use from Aunt Janie at all. So here we are back on the third floor and just giving you a quick glance at what it looks like now. Now, I will leave a link in the description so you can see what it looked like when I first got this dollhouse. Now, this was originally the Aunt Shirley dollhouse, which it still is, but I call it the dress shop dollhouse now, but just kind of giving you a glance at the finishes and everything. And I think this will be more suitable as another bedroom in the dress shop. And this is a lovely picture of Aunt Bess and Aunt Janie when they were young women before Aunt Bess got married and had Charlotte. So let me give you one more quick glance at this attic space because the next time you see it, I'll be decorating it as a bedroom. Okay, so dolls, I was about to show you the showroom, but I forgot that there was something I needed to do. Now, I had this lovely piece that I thought would be really perfect as a showcase. All these lovely accessories I've been gifted and some that I actually made. Now, these are little jewelry sets that are on the little stands, and I will leave a link in the description so you can see when I got those as gifts. But I just wanted to arrange them in a way that would look attractive and believable as a dress shop showcase. Now, this was a lovely piece, and I did add the little cameo to it to make it look more dramatic, but I think that looks perfect on that little shelf in the back. And I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what it looks like really quick. Isn't that cute? And then I had a few purses and other lovely little gift items I thought would look really pretty on display. Now, these beautiful gems were originally given to me to be brooches for the dolls, but they were a little bit big, so I turned them into like little gift boxes. And I used one of them and turned it into a little purse, and I added a chain to it. Lana, I hope you like what I did. These were gifted to me by my precious doll, Lana, at Panache Luxury. Now, these are the times where I really feel like these precision tweezers really come in handy. But it really tickles me because with certain items, I really do good with the tweezers, and other times I just have to use my fingers. Now I'm starting to pull out some of the purses that I've made in several of my previous videos, and I will leave links in the description for when I made the fabric purses and these little black patent leather ones that I made from clay. And dolls, I hope you don't mind that I'm playing because it's really exciting for me to finally pull together all these elements to set up the items in this little showcase, because many times when I'm making things individually, you don't really know what my vision is. So I'm at the stage now where you're getting to see where I was going when I was making all these tiny treasures. So these are the moments that I feel like sometimes individually the pieces don't look like very much by themselves, but when you pull them all together to create a scene, they come together like pieces to a puzzle to create something beautiful. And dolls, one of the funniest things about doing things like this is, one, it's always so much fun, but things always work out differently than what your original thought or idea is. So that's why I like to lean toward the feeling or the mood it creates rather than just the look. By just allowing yourself to play and see where your imagination takes you. Now, after I put in my last few pieces, I really liked the way it looked because it looked really full, and it reminded me of a boutique I went to years ago. And it was a really quaint little shop that had all kinds of really unique treasures, and many of the lovely items were stored inside curio cabinet. So the shop owner really knew her stock, so you had to tell her what you were looking for, and then she would go into these beautiful cabinets and pull out the lovely things that she had available. And that's what this reminds me of. Let's go ahead and try it out in the dress shop. Now here we are inside the new dress shop showroom, and I've moved things around a little bit so you all can really see how things look. Now the two cabinets in the back are the ones that I created for the original dress shop showroom. Now the counter along the side has the lovely perfume bottles and the decorative soaps. Let me show it to you really quick. And I will add a link so you can see when I stocked it. And I also need to get curtains up to those windows, but I'll save that as a project for after the babies are born, but before Christmas. And I really like the way things turned out, how I mixed the two wallpapers. Now this is the little checkout desk that I still need to work on. I wanted to add some different little decorative elements to that. And if you look really close on that table, there is an assortment of fans and a fan holder, which is that hand that has a ring on it. That was given to me by Jolene at Tiny Cleho Minis. Now, although I staged this big cabinet specifically for the dress shop, I'm starting to feel like it may not work in this space. I really like it, and I love all the wonderful things that I made for it, and I really like the way it looked in the original dress shop, but I'm rethinking some things now. But those are some of the accessories I created, so I may have to just kind of reassess things and determine whether I'm going to use this cabinet and everything in it. But I'm just going to pull it out for now to see how another idea I had will work. So now that I moved everything out, I'm going to push this cabinet toward the door, and I pushed the other little shelf over to the side, and I kind of like the way that looks. And still I'm going to need to put a curtain on that window. Now here's our little showcase, so I'm going to let it sit up against that wall, but I still need to get in my dress forms, and I want the table with the things Jolene gave me to be in the center. And I love these little dresses, but the skirts are so full, they take up so much room. I don't know if I'll be able to use them here. And these are the types of hard decisions you have to make sometime, dolls, when you're setting up your scene. You can have pieces that you really love and you really want to use, but sometimes they just don't work for the amount of space or room that you have. So you have to consider some of your other options. Now, this lovely dress form that was given to me by Rich from Rich Miniatures, it's a lovely wooden stand, and I think it'll be really nice for a display for a more deluxe body doll, so I think I'm going to have to dress that stand. It fits really neat in that space, and I can see it with a really pretty dress on it. And I sincerely may have to consider mounting some of my beautiful hats along the wall. Now, I just want to zoom in really quick and let you dolls see this lovely little showcase, all filled with all the little wonderful accessories. I think that looks really, really pretty. And I'm really excited that I finally got it all set up and put all those things that I've created for this project inside. And there's a little perfume bottle tray on the top. But look at those lovely jewelry sets and the purses. And I'm just so tickled and delighted about how everything is turning out and coming together. So I just want to turn the little showcase so you can really see it from all sides. And I guess I'm just about as tickled about this one as I was about filling up that other showcase with all the perfume bottles and the soaps. And I'm just so grateful for all the lovely gifts you dolls have given me that go along with the story of my dollhouse and how everything fits together along with the things that I've created. And I really want this dress shop to look really full and cluttered, but I still need the sight lines to be clear so you dolls can see. And I just want to encourage you dolls to be open and not so rigid when you're putting together your scenes. Pull together all the things that you love and work with what works best. But now I've got the fans in the hand on the table, and you can see the dresses and everything in the back. So I've got my mirror set up, and the desk is all in place. So I still have quite a bit of work to do. I do need to put something on that underside of the staircase to make it look a little bit more festive and boutique-y, but I'm really pleased at how things are looking so far. Now that I have some of my key components in place, I know what modifications I need to make. And with the sewing room all set up, the ladies can go ahead and continue with business as usual, and they can make sure that Miss Betty is all ready for her big day. And I want to do a quick shout out to Kay Tamsor 2 for buying me some coffee. Thank you. Now, dolls, if you enjoyed this video today, I sure would like to know what you think in the comments. Also, if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. And always look for me on Mondays after 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all right here next time on Little Gretchen's Workshop. Bye-bye now, dolls.